What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hill Shadows podcast. My name is Jeremiah, and I'll be your host this evening. And with me is Ashley and Bailey as well. Hopefully, everybody's having a wonderful weekend. The big thing going on around here has been the wind lately. We'll get to that. If you guys are a fan of the paranormal or you like the unexplainable, hit the subscribe button. Every week we go over different accounts people encounter with this type of phenomenon. But yeah, it's been a very windy couple of days we've had. Well, today hasn't been bad. Yeah. But yesterday it was like Armageddon out there.
Yeah, it's like hurricane force winds.
Like nothing I've ever seen. But yeah, hopefully.
Ooh, speaking of that,
hopefully you guys are safe and everybody was careful. It seemed like a large portion of our country was affected by it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get used to my new glasses. Tonight it's just they feel a little odd. And Bailey's as well. Bailey is trying to get used to her new glasses as well. I've got a lot of really cool stories today, ranging from UFOs to the shadow man with the hat on his head to skinwalkers, I think.
Okay.
And the first thing I wanted to talk about is something I'd never heard of, and I know you had never heard of it either because we both heard about it together on something we were watching on YouTube. I can't remember exactly what, but it was called the Wachuge.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised I'd never heard of it because...
If that's how you say it, in fact.
Because I am, we both are really into Bigfoot and things like that.
I've heard of it, but I've never done any type of
I don't know that I've ever heard of it, period. But apparently, it's in native lore. But I got something pulled up. I just wanted to read about it.
Legend.
The Wachuge is a man-eating creature or evil spirit appearing in the legends of the Athabascan people. In beaver mythology, it is said to be a person who has been possessed or overwhelmed by the power of one of the ancient giant spirit animals. Related to becoming too strong, these giant animals were crafty, intelligent, powerful, and somehow retained the power despite being transformed into normal-sized animals of the present day. Professor Robin Wrightington came across stories of the Wachuge while speaking with the Danes-Za of the Peace River region in western Canada. The Danes-Za believed that one could become Wachuge by breaking a taboo or becoming too strong. Examples of these taboos include a person having a photo taken with a flash, listening to music made with a stretched string or hide, or eating meat with fly eggs in it. Like the Wendigo, the Wachuge seeks to eat people, attempting to lure them away from their fellows by cunning. In one folktale, it is made of ice and very strong, and is only killed by being thrown on a campfire and kept there overnight until it has melted. That'd be a long night. Being a Wachuge is considered a curse and a punishment, and they are destructive and cannibalistic creatures. That's pretty crazy. It sounds very similar to a Wendigo. It says descriptions vary a lot, and it's prevalent among the Athabascan and some other peoples in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm. I have a hair that feels like it's on my face. It's driving me crazy. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Trying to remove a hair from my face.
That's all right, man. We all got to take care of it. You want to read one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let my daughter Bailey take this next one.
Yeah, this is
I'm
my
gonna
daughter,
also.
Bailey. I don't think that was said.
Did I not introduce her as my daughter? It's my daughter Bailey.
I don't.
I want to take this time to encourage people that might have an encounter of their own.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can send those to us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com, and we'll share them on an upcoming episode, or not if you don't want us to. Yeah, Bailey wants to make sure that Spider-Man gets some screen time, so...
Okay, oh, careful now, you're hitting one.
Yeah, she's messing with the audio, which we shouldn't be able to hear right now anyway, so we'll take care of that. I'll let Bailey read this next one.
Bailey, can you see over here enough to read anything?
Not that
This
much.
first one is about the encounter with the dude with the shadow figure with the hat. And this is the guy that you've you have encountered, correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
I've never
I'll let you
never
read one in a second,
encountered
baby,
this
okay?
particular
I'll let you
phenomenon,
my
but
phone so
Ashley,
you can hold it.
I
What?
think as in her younger years, she
Yeah, it wasn't just
was it
me.
a particular house? Was it a particular?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
There was a
particular
road
house.
off of like Main Street in our town called Westover, and I was young, but I can still remember it very vividly. Um, it started out with my oldest sister. She's passed away now. She was in a car wreck. Anyways, um, she saw it and told my parents about it. Whatever, they thought she's having a bad dream. Whatever. And then like the following nights, I have another sister that's MMR, and she saw it, and then I did, and I can remember telling, like, my mom wanted to sleep in the room with us to see if she could see it. We all shared a room. It was like a 2-bedroom house. And I remember telling her, like, grown-ups couldn't see it. I don't know why. You know, it wasn't just me. It was me and my sisters as well. Like, we told them they wouldn't be able to see it either. She wouldn't be able to see it. And she didn't. She never saw it. She did sleep in our room with us numerous times to try to see it. I don't know if she just never woke up, whatever. But he was there, and it wasn't a good feeling. It was the darkest black that you could possibly think of, and you could tell he's wearing this like brimmed hat, and he's got a long trench coat. Can't see facial features, any features for that matter, at all. It's just black. But yeah, he was there every night. My grandmother came, prayed over the home, and he was gone for a couple months. But he came back, and he would just stand there. He didn't move. He stood there staring into our bedroom. But when he came back, we left. We moved from that house, and that was the end of that. But it was terrifying. I remember being so scared, wanting to scream for my parents to come help me, but couldn't. Like, I could not scream.
Yeah, they say the shadow is like so dark. It's not even like black. It's like an absence of light.
Yeah, it's black. It's terrifying.
Yeah, there are all kinds of encounters people have with these crazy things all over the world and have throughout recorded history. Yeah, we'll let Bailey read this. It's about the same guy she's been talking about.
That's crazy to me that other people have had that encounter.
It is
like,
strange.
It's weird. Why? I don't know. That's so weird to me.
This one I found on Reddit, and it comes under the subreddit True Scary Stories, and it's entitled Encounter with Shadow Figure Hat Man. It's posted by the user SparrowSkate39. This one was 10 days ago.
Okay. Bailey is not a timid child
not
by any
all.
means whatsoever.
Not
so
at
that's why.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, it's
quite the opposite.
Not. You know, worried.
Would you like to read this one?
Hearing this. She's
I need to see it
just
closer.
not that kid. She's not scared of
look
stuff
at
like
it.
that.
Take a look.
Can you see?
Like, it's hard to see it from here.
Do you want to just wait and I'll let you read one for mine? So
okay,
you can hold my phone and look.
Okay.
You got it?
See? Bring your little feet closer. You me move
Come
Spider-Man?
on up here with Spider-Man
Yes.
and
Spider-Man's
join
wing.
us today.
Let me scooch him over here a bit. There.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, let's go.
All right,
Let's
go
see
for it.
what we got.
I was about 12 years old in the early 2000s. My family were going on a trip overnight with my dad for work, and they were letting me stay home alone. My grandparents lived in a attached apartment, so I wasn't truly alone. Nonetheless, I was quite excited to stay up all night, eat pizza and candy, and play video games till the morning. The night before my parents were scheduled to leave, I had woke up at 3 a.m. This wasn't unusual, as I would have trouble sleeping half asleep. I stumbled down the stairs to the living room. I'm on my way to the kitchen for a little midnight snack. I wasn't prepared for what would happen next. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, the moonlight spilled in through the window, lighting up the a room enough to see my steps, but not enough to see clearly. I looked up from my feet to see ahead of me. He and on the couch was something that left me terrified. A man dressed in all black suit with a hat similar to a cowboy hat was sitting straight up on the couch, legs crossed and hands together as if he were waiting for someone. As I stated, he raised his head up to look at me. A pair of red eyes pierced my soul, and an evil grin flicked across the face. I immediately felt an ice cold chill as my hairs stood on end. I turned around and bolted back upstairs and straight into my room. After a minute, I tried to be brave and come back down. This time, turning the lights on from the top of the stairs, the man was nowhere to be seen and nothing out of place. I had seen the red eyes in the house before, peering at me from the closet of my sick mother's room. I think it was a demon who preyed on her, which is a story for another time. But this encounter was the first time I ever saw the attached to a body. And even now, nearly 20 years later, it still puts me on edge as I can remember the experience in detail. There's more stories from the haunted house when I grew up, which I may share another time if there's interest. What?
Yeah, if there's
Interest.
Yeah, interest.
Has anyone else seen this top hat shadow man too? What are your thoughts? Thanks for reading my true scary story.
Wow.
Yeah, see, mine didn't have any red eyes or even
That's
facial
what I
features.
was thinking. Like they could see him grin, which makes me think that it wasn't entirely a shadow person, correct? Because most of the
Typically,
time,
shadow people don't have. But I mean, that doesn't mean they can't. I guess I don't know. I don't know the difference. I didn't even know it was something that other people saw.
it's a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy. So is it a demon?
It would.
What do you think,
It
Bailey?
would.
What's it sound like? A demon?
It would seem as if it
A
might
spirit.
be.
A
It
negative
might
spirit?
just be a
Yeah.
demon of some sort, right?
I
Who
know
knows?
it made me feel terrified. Now I don't know if that was because like it's a man in my house that I know isn't supposed to be there, but there was like a true feeling of like terror, absolute terror with it.
Are you talking about that like one house that you used to live in
Mhm.
when you were younger? And you saw like a man sitting
Yeah,
down?
you didn't just hear me telling the story.
No, not
Bailey,
really.
I was just talking about it.
She literally
Jeez.
did.
Yes,
Well,
the house that I
hear
showed you.
I wasn't paying attention, okay?
Well, that's not good.
Clearly.
Sorry.
You're okay.
It happens. It happens.
But yes, that house. Yeah, where I showed you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, I got another one from Reddit. This one is about the UFO experience. And this one is posted by user Forest Fairy, and it's from 19 days ago under the same subreddit, True Scary Stories. And as always, I will post the links for all these down in the description box if you guys want to check them out. I just want to share one of the craziest experiences of my life. Sadly, I didn't record it because I was petrified. I couldn't move. If it wasn't for my friend, actually, I don't know what would have happened to us. So this takes place in Shepherd, Michigan. I was visiting a friend, and this is the country, like middle of nowhere, small town, dirt roads, and cornfields. We were bored, obviously, and it was late. The sun was setting, so we decided to take a walk to downtown, a small strip of restaurants with the only paved road. It took us about an hour to actually get there. I want to point out that I didn't see anything in the sky yet.
Okay.
We're at a park on the edge of this downtown. There's one or two sheriff vehicles. Can't remember clearly. This happened about 5 or 6 years ago. We've only been here about 20 minutes or so. She explains to me there's been car hoppers and police have been searching for them. I think at this point I heard a helicopter. I honestly thought it was funny that police would be going all out with a helicopter looking for some car hoppers. I'm more from the city. Okay, to get to the point, we get up and head back home. We're turning the corner, back into dirt roads, passing this police car. Can't tell if anyone is even inside. There's fields on both sides of this road and a forest in the distance on my right side. Immediately, we notice the UFO. It took me a second for my brain to register what I was seeing. But there, low in the air, just above the trees, was this rod like thing hovering in the air. Best I can describe it, it was the size of a bus or two, and almost like a rod laying at a slant in the air. There were two green lights on each side. These lights were very bright and saturated in color against the darkness of the country. No light pollution. So I have my flashlight out so we can see in the dark night. As soon as I realize I'm looking at a UFO, I go to take a picture, and before I can do that, this thing starts spiraling towards us like a fan.
Hmm.
This giant rod like thing is spiraling right at us. You can hear the wind whipping against it, and a helicopter is somewhere out of sight. I just freeze, unable to react or understand what's happening. Just pure terror. Wondering if this is going to crash into us. It doesn't make sense. My friend pushed my hands down, still holding my phone and the flashlight away from the sight. Immediately, this thing stopped, repositioned itself, and began moving slowly away. Not very far above our heads. I could see lines on this thing. The helicopter was here now, right in front of this thing, guiding it away. Right over downtown, too. The only place where anyone would witness this. Totally inconspicuous. We stood there for maybe a minute or two, watching this in awe and terror, and I regret so much not recording, just to be able to watch this event again and maybe catch something new I didn't catch before, or share with others this truly terrifying experience of mine so they can understand exactly what I've seen. But all I have is my memories. I don't know if anyone else had made calls on this, or maybe that's what the police were there for. There was a police car just at the corner, parked at an old car repair shop, facing the wrong way. I don't know if anyone in downtown, just around the corner, was outside to witness this, but it was clear as day, so if anyone else was around here, there's no missing this. It's crazy because I didn't see anything at all in our hour walk. This thing just arrived at the field in the 20 minutes or so we were at this park. And I think the only reason my friend could think rationally in that situation is because she didn't believe in UFOs and tried saying that it was some kind of police aircraft afterwards. But when I explained to her exactly what she witnessed, that we don't have, aren't supposed to have zero gravity technology, she got quiet. She definitely became a UFO believer that day.
Hmm.
Pretty interesting. I've never heard of a sighting quite like that one.
So what happened after? Did it stop?
Can you do what?
Get something.
Well, yeah, absolutely, I guess. But yeah, I've never
What's a
heard
car
of.
hopper?
There are a lot of people who loot into cars, steal
Oh.
stuff, go from car to car, car
Okay.
hoppers. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So the police were looking
Sorry, I'm
for.
not a criminal.
Car.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
Don't go down that lane.
I like some UFO stories.
I mean, they're also unique, and you do hear a lot of stories that involve rod-shaped craft.
Yeah.
So
What is
that's
that?
quite
Like,
common.
I wonder, are those like drones of another technology? You know what I mean? Not necessarily ours. Or
It's
maybe, I don't know.
possible for sure. I mean, they're often seen. Here's something that I thought of when reading this. Is
I don't know where you put it, honey.
yeah. One thing it reminded me of was like you always hear about a police presence or some kind of military presence being associated with UFOs.
Sometimes.
And when we were driving to Frankfurt that evening, and we seen the little thing that was supposedly Starlink.
Starlink? That was
And immediately
weird.
there was like a car wreck. We got pulled over for some strange reason.
It was when we pulled over right after seeing it to try to get like
It was all very, very strange.
a good picture of it.
How everything happened.
It was weird.
Just seeing the thing alone wouldn't have been all that crazy.
And what's weird to me about being pulled over was that when we pulled in that rest area, right before that, before pulling in, there was the car that wrecked.
Right.
So you're telling me that cop drove past this wrecked car.
Yeah, past the wrecked car.
Let them just be there
to pull us over.
For
what was it for?
A tail light.
Yeah, the tail light, because we've
tail light
been
was
pulled
out.
over like a dozen times over the tail light because we had the leak.
No, it doesn't, but it was a couple prior to that.
If you've been pulled over once, it's too many.
Whatever.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, that was a weird. I believe it was Starlink.
It's one
I
of
don't
those,
know.
It's just one of those series of events
sure it
that
was.
seems too strange to be coincidence.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it was really weird.
it's just very strange.
Weird thing.
Very strange. There's a lot of oddities that take place when people see UFOs.
Right. I'm telling you, that
It's
Starlink.
not just the UFO side.
Mostly people see it like up in the sky pretty far, right? That thing was like.
It seemed like it was rather low.
Right there.
But then again, I've never seen
huge.
Starlink, so I don't know what it would look like. I really don't.
I don't either.
I know you have some good stories as well tonight.
I have a picture of that thing that day, but it's not as.
If you can
far
somehow
it's
get
on
it
your
to my
computer.
email, it is on my computer.
Yeah, it's on my other phone, and we put everything on your computer.
So
when
it's
I
on
put
this
all my pictures on.
piece. Okay.
Let me find what number of stories did I get.
What is it?
I wrote down like certain numbers for what these stories were.
And again, I want to encourage you guys to hit the subscribe button. If you like our videos, if you enjoy this kind of content, a lot of the people that are watching the videos aren't subscribed, so please make sure you're subscribed. And also, it helps us tremendously if you hit the like button. And if you want to go a step further than that, you can share the video and help us get even more views. We appreciate all you guys' support.
Okay, so.
But I will let Ashley take us over to the next one, and I got a couple more.
Sorry for the background noise. Bailey is coming in and out of the room.
Bailey's not the most
closing the
professional
door.
co-host.
Quietly, like I
Yes,
asked her to do.
I tried to.
Did not.
May end up having to write her
Mama
up.
stole my thing.
What's that have to do with you slamming the door?
Yeah, you got to be quiet. If you're going to be in here for this, you have to do it. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna read this.
I know. You're doing good. I appreciate it.
All right, this is titled "In the Mountains." That's it. My dad and I were hunting in the mountains of North Idaho City. It was about twilight, and we were hiking back to the car. We began to smell something terrible, like burning bone and hair. It was the worst stench I've ever experienced. The smell got worse as we kept hiking. We could hear what we thought was someone or something running at a great rate of speed from behind us. My dad grabbed me and held my face to his chest and dropped to the ground. I held close to him as the running got louder. Dad readied his rifle. I heard him say, "Oh no, son, stand up. Walk with me. Look at the ground." Terrified, I stood. Stupid me turned around and looked. There was the remains of an elk. The head looked like it had been put in a blast furnace. The hair on the body was all singed. The hooves looked melted. The running sound was gone. We moved closer to the car. It was now nearly dark. About 100 yards from the car, we heard the running again, and we froze. All of a sudden, the forest lit up like noonday. We heard a very loud whoosh, and it was gone. The forest was dark. It was quiet, like dead still. We booked it to the car, threw our gear in the back seat, and drove. I kept my head down and just cried. Dad was stoic and silent. Halfway out of the woods, we saw the light again, bright as ever. But just for a second, and then it was gone again. Made it back to Idaho City and stopped at the Gold Mine Grill to regroup. Went inside, and there was another hunter in there. What's happening?
I don't know if it's got a max limit or something. I said to start the next clip, so you're good. Go ahead.
From where? I'm going to start back at this last little part.
Mm-hmm.
Made it back to Idaho City and stopped at a Gold Mine Grill to regroup. Went inside, and there was another hunter in there. He looked at us and said, "Y'all see that shit?" He just stared and drank. You know what this makes me think of?
What is it?
The night we were sitting on the porch, the first thing that we ever saw that was kind of like, what the hell was that? What the heck was that? And it looked like the heavens opened. Like it was the brightest
really
light.
bright,
And then sucked back up
really
immediately.
Fast. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's what it makes me think of. Only there wasn't a smell. There wasn't, all of that with it. Or running.
That's wild.
Yeah, I thought I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting. I guess I liked it because it was a little relatable.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Okay, I have another one. Let me see.
Can I read another?
These are all. Yeah, I'll find one for you to read in just a moment. I'm gonna let you read this one about a triangle in a minute.
Okay.
It's not very long though. Okay, this one was just called Wow. I know it's kind of short. Whatever.
That's all good, man. Some not all encounters, you know, involve a couple pages of writing. Some of them are real.
No, I mean like the title, which is called Wow.
Wow.
All right.
That's a unique title.
I was about 8. My sister was 6 or 7. My family and I had went camping about an hour north of Kingfisher Lake in northern Ontario. It was a routine camping weekend, fishing, hiking, fires, etc. Well, on the second day we were there, my dad was chopping up some firewood and had asked me to grab some kindling and to take my sister along. No problem. Off we went. We made it about, I want to say, 100 or so yards away into a small clearing in the woods, within shouting distance if need be. I was gathering twigs and handing them over to my sister when I smelled a smell. The kind of smell that smells smelly. If I had to describe it, it was a mixture of wet dog fur, fish, pine, damp wood, and and hot dog shit melting on a city sidewalk.
That's an easy
The
one
smell
to
was so bad it made my eyes water, and I suggested we go back, thinking it was a carcass. And if it was a carcass, that means there's predators around. I turned around to tell my sister we're leaving when I noticed something against a tree in the distance a few meters away. I for sure thought it was a bear, and so I panicked and ran toward my sister to grab her arm and to GTFO. As I approached, though, I must have startled this thing because what once was just a mass of indistinguishable brown something behind a tree stood up and turned so it was standing profile. I will never, never, ever forget what I saw that day. It is engraved too deeply into my memory that I'll carry it with me for the rest of my life. It stood up. And I mean stood up. It had to have been 8 feet tall. It was fast, was almost human like, but with 8 features: sloped brow, protruded lips, and the back of its head was flat with a cone-like shape on top like a gorilla. I was frozen with fear, but I wanted desperately to get out of there. I very quietly called to my sister, who was maybe 10 feet away from me at this point, still gathering twigs. Let's go. Mom called us back. I slowly walked over to her, my eyes locked on this thing the entire time. As soon as I grabbed her hand, it effing looked at me. It looked at me, and I'm getting shivers typing this. Its eyes were narrowed, black, and terrifying. As soon as it all happened, it was over. It ran faster than anything I've ever seen run into the bush, and that was my ordeal with that. To this day, nobody I tell this story to will believe me. But I don't care. I know I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. I saw a Sasquatch.
There
Yeah.
are thousands of stories just like that.
Yeah.
So many, so many. Um, some are scarier than others, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Some are downright terrifying,
Um,
and some are kind of peaceful. I guess it's just I don't know. Who knows? Does karma have something to do with it, or is
right.
it just chance?
I don't know.
I know I'd like to keep good karma on my side in any regards.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought of that we didn't discuss at the top of the show. There's been a quite a big ordeal this past week.
Uh-huh.
The Murdaugh murders.
Oh, yeah.
They sentenced Alex. I'll say Alex because people say Alec,
Spelled.
which is stupid because
Also, they
there's
say
an
Murdoch
X,
when it's Murdaugh.
which is Murdaugh. There's
Or
no
CH.
C or K. Where is the Murdoch? There's no.
It's Murdaugh.
It's Murdaugh. Anyway, they barbecued that man and gave him
Well, they're going to file for a mistrial.
back consecutive life
Life
sentences.
sentences.
Not concurrent, for some reason he lives through one of those life sentences, he's got another one that he's got to serve out before he's going to be a free man. Which, in my opinion, I think he did it. I mean, the evidence was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, but there's no... You don't have the weapons.
You got him there moments before the murder.
I'm not...
You got him walking 265 steps on his phone. I agree.
But I just don't know that there's...
He was a clever attorney. He's been in courtrooms all his life. He ran law for a long time. His family did. I think he thought that he pulled off the perfect murder, and he almost did if it wasn't for Paul, the kid, his own son that he murdered. He was a little detective and got him on video moments before the murder. And I think that's the, But it's kind of overwhelming. But an interesting case. There's some really good documentaries out on it. So you guys...
Yeah, I heard that other one.
You should check
what
it
is
out.
it? Something like a staircase or something like that? About the family. It's supposed to be... There's one
on Peacock.
Yeah, that one's the Murdaugh Murders, a Southern something.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's an interesting case. But yeah, we'll get on to your next one. I got a couple more. The other two I have really aren't very long, so...
Yeah, this what I'm getting to read is short, and then I'm gonna let Bailey read another little thing.
Mm-hmm.
My phone did that thing where it just shuts off for no reason a second ago, so I'm trying to scroll back to the story. There's a bunch of stories on here, but let's see, where is it at? Okay. I think this is one I'm gonna let Bailey read in a second.
Yay.
Okay. This is called Deployed. You know, I've read some very creepy stories from deployed men in Afghanistan. One of my students, I used to teach college courses, told me that he was on fire watch and saw a man approaching base from the empty desert. He yelled at him to stop. The man bent backwards and started to dislocate all his joints and crawled toward them.
That ain't the way you want somebody to bend on you.
They raised their weapons and the thing evaporated.
Wow.
The weird thing was that it registered on the heat detection until it disappeared, and several guys saw it. It wasn't just sleepy, stressed fire watch brain. That's it.
Short and
That's
sweet.
creepy though. Dislocated, like bent over backwards and dislocated.
I mean, that's the cracking sound, the snapping, the contortions.
Yeah. Okay, Bailey, this is one I'm going to let you read real quick. It's called Suddenly Vanished. Now listen. All right, come here, look. So it's this right here, plus you have to like scroll.
Also, you're being recorded there and here by your voice, so make sure you can talk into that.
Yeah, like stop when you get to the big word, okay? Like don't go past that. All right?
Okay.
So it's really just like a couple paragraphs.
Which one's it?
We're going to start with Suddenly Vanished and stop at the...
Okay.
All right, so we got another one coming from our daughter.
Come on, Bailey.
Bailey, let's hear it.
Scooch over a little bit. Let Bailey a little face get in there.
The limelight.
There you go.
Was on a commercial fishing boat. Us and another boat saw this thing, a UFO 10 feet above my head. Silent, 3 lights, triangle pattern, size of a car maybe. Brightest lights ever that left no lights on the deck of boat, but was blinding looking up at it. The UFO followed us for 20 seconds, then it literally vanished in the blink of an eye.
Wow.
What do you think about that story, Bailey? Does it
We
remind you of
can
anything?
talk about what happened to me.
Yeah, what did you see?
What
something?
happened? What did you see?
What did you see?
I've talked about what we've seen before on here. What did you see that night?
Yeah.
So I was walking home to.
No. What do you? I'm talking about the night.
I want to go.
Let her to whatever she wants to talk
Oh,
about.
I was talking. Okay, go ahead.
I was walking home from my grandma's, going back to our house, and then my dad makes like a sound trying, like
I whoop sometimes down
like
the.
trying
We have
to
a trail
scare.
on our property.
yeah,
and
trying
Let her
to
tell the
see
story.
if like a Bigfoot would like do that sound back. And then one time when I was walking back, I heard that sound and I thought it would be like him or something. And I went inside, and then he was just sitting on the couch.
I'd been inside the whole time. It wasn't me. I remember when you came in that day, and we're telling me about
Yeah,
that.
I was expecting him not to be like in the living room or
Actually,
like in any room.
Do you want to also?
I think you're both wrong about what happened afterwards. Because what happened is you were in here. Bailey came in and was like, "Where's Daddy? Is he down on the trail?" I was like, "No, he's in there." She was like, "No, yeah, he is. He was down there making noise at me." I was like, "No, Bailey, like he's in the room."
I remember that.
And
yeah,
she
that's
come
about right.
into the room and I was like,
Yeah, that's how I remember.
Yeah,
that
you were
sounds
in it.
accurate.
"No, what I'm talking about, Bailey, is the night that
I know what
Daddy
you're
stepped
talking
outside
about,
on the
yeah.
porch and freaked out, hollering for us to come in,
What'd you
or
see
to come
that
outside.
night? That's right.
And then I ran out there, and then you come running out. What did you see?"
Tell everybody what you seen that
Like
night.
when we saw in the sky,
That's
yeah.
right.
What did we see in the sky?
we saw like a
Right above our house. Or
It was
sorry,
like-
go ahead.
I think it was like a triangle in the sky, and it had like dots on each end, like of the points of
What
the
color?
triangle. I think there was like red and black.
There's a red one in the middle, right? And
Black
Yeah.
what?
ones on the end,
Like
on
I
the
think
tips.
they're like black
It was
like-
black.
dots on the tips, and there was like a red dot, like
No, there
like
were
in-
white lights on the ends.
White lights on
white
the
lights
end
on the ends,
and
and
red
then
in the
like
middle.
a red dot in
Mhm.
the middle or something like
Yeah.
That's
How big
right.
was it?
that. From what I saw, like from how high it was, it wasn't that big. It was about
Right.
like a inch big from
An
what we
inch big?
Yeah.
Oh my
Boy,
god.
that's
Like,
the
an
biggest
inch big
understatement
is
I've
like
ever
this.
heard. That's
No,
like
from
that.
what we saw, like how high it was.
Oh, you're
from
saying
what
it
we
was
saw.
so high in the air.
It wasn't that high
It
though.
was like an inch big, like,
And
and
like-
looking at it, that distance being what it is, you know.
It was probably about like
They say it was about the
10
size of a car. I
I
want to say it was a little bigger. I don't think a car
think
is
so.
quite big enough. I don't know.
I think
Okay, what
it
about
would have been-
afterwards?
Huh?
Do you remember after it like made it past the trees? Do you remember like looking up in the sky afterwards?
No.
You're the one that noticed it.
Noticed what?
All the little
Huh?
things that were zipping around everywhere. It
Yeah,
looked like
there were
stars
other,
that were moving everywhere.
Smaller
Remember?
objects
We didn't see anything.
moving
so I
around the
think-
sky
The
behind
little-
this black
I don't
triangle
know.
object, so.
I forgot.
Bailey, this was barely a year ago. Why do you know what is happening? Anywho.
But one time when I was walking home, like while I was walking to our grandma's, I heard like 3 knocks on the tree.
Yeah.
Like right when I walked past, and then I came back over to the house and I heard the same exact 3 knocks as I heard.
Well,
There's been a lot of weird
definitely
things down there.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know
some odd
why.
happenings. We found one of her floats from the swimming pool
Like stuck up in the tree.
about 18 feet up in a tree, stuck on a branch.
It was like a little
Lodged
branch that was
on
like
there.
sticking off like this.
No, wait. There was like a stick, like a kind of like a big stick or
Mhm.
something. It was like it looked like someone very strong like
Shoved
grabbed
it in the ground.
shoved it
I
in
actually
the
have
ground.
that video in a playlist called Activity on Our Property. So if you guys haven't already checked those out, there's some cool, you can kind of see what's gone on around here. There's been a few odd things happen. I have a couple more short stories. If I'm not incorrect, one is about another encounter with a shadow person, and one is about a possible shapeshifter.
Okay.
So
Let's hear it.
I'll do the shapeshifter first, and this is all these I've gotten today are from underneath the same subreddit of true scary stories, and this one's by the user Banana Fruit 4. It comes a month ago,
Alright.
and it's titled Possibly Shapeshifter.
Well, this is long.
It's not. It's really not.
Oh, okay.
I have a story that happened just a couple days ago, January 20th, about 2 to 3 a.m.ish. I just want to write it to see if anyone's seen anything similar. So me and my boyfriend went to park at a parking lot right by a church. We were in his Jeep facing the church, and he was telling me his past life story, and I was listening to him talk because it was something heavy that was on his chest that he felt he needed to let out to me. So he works night shift and was on a break and gets a call to go back to work at 3, So we were pulling out of the parking lot and we noticed three deer, and there was an alleyway that went towards the direction to where you can get a good glance at them. My boyfriend asked me if we should pull in to see these deer. So I said yes, and we did and parked there for a minute staring at these deer, and two of them were male and one was female, but kept walking while the other two male deer stopped and stared. We just looked at them and was like, cool, and then we backed out with the headlights facing toward the third deer standing there. We stopped and my boyfriend stared at it and said, that's an ugly, weird looking deer. And I looked at it. It did not look normal at all. It stared back at us, but this stare looked so eerie. This deer had a white face from the bottom to its eyes, and its nose was pushed downwards like a flat face.
Hmm.
The eyes were facing directly straight to us and not sideways as a normal deer would have. The body was that of a deer, and my boyfriend continued to stare and examine the deer, and I was questioning, like, is that a deer or a different animal? And he's like, no, that's a deer. I stared at it, and I told my boyfriend, why are we staring at it? And I looked away because I didn't want to stare at it anymore. And I told him to go, and we left, and I was like, that deer did not look normal. And he was like, you seen that too, right? And I had the chills all the way back home. He told me not to tell anyone what we saw and tried to convince me that we only seen two male deer and not the third one to help me feel not as scared considering I was going home alone. I got home safe and went right to sleep. The next morning, me and my boyfriend talked about it and agreed what we both saw and then stopped talking about it because I can still see how it looked in my mind. But that's my story. It's just been on my mind because I've never seen anything like that in my life. We were next to a reservation where we were, and not sure if this is relevant, but maybe 30 minutes before we left there were coyotes in the field whining, and we rolled down our windows to listen to them, and they stopped, so we continued talking.
That's it.
Sounds to me like somebody might have just seen
Like a deformed
a
deer.
deformed deer, I believe. Yeah, I don't see any sign of it changing shape.
Why was she so scared?
Very strange story, I guess. I mean, everybody has their own story. I respect the story. We'll throw that out to you guys. You be the judge of what happened. Was it a shapeshifter? Was it a malformed deer? Did it have some type of disease?
Genetic mutation of some sort? Disease? Something?
It could have
I
been
don't
a
know.
number of things, right?
Rabies.
My last one
rabies
is about another shadow figure dude.
Yeah, I can.
Shadow figure dude, literally.
It's
That's
literally
what
what
it's
it's titled.
Okay.
This one's by the user. Yeah, I'll post it. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try.
Let me see.
That's not even a word, it's just
It's
letters.
not. It's just letters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is gonna wrap it up for me tonight. It's my last one. So this was like 2 years ago.
I know what it's supposed to say. Pink guts,
Nice.
but the eyes are one.
All right. Well. Yeah, what she said. So this was like 2 years ago. I live in a townhouse in a pretty suburban area. There are like 3 fields surrounding the area I live in. Anyways, I was home alone and it was pretty late at night. My mom and her boyfriend were up north for the weekend. I was making some food when I heard strange noises, like banging on the walls and stuff. I brushed it off because I have noisy neighbors, but I was really paranoid, so I texted my neighbor and asked if they were home or something. They weren't. So I really started freaking out. I'm home alone. I'm home alone. My neighbors aren't I'm home alone. My neighbors aren't home either, and it's like 2 in the morning. The banging noises get louder. It sounds like it was from my basement. Maybe it's my washer or something. So I calmed down a little. I went in my basement, like some stupid BI in a horror movie, to see if it was just my laundry. Turns out that it wasn't on. I left the basement quickly, panic rushing back to me. I just went to my room, totally forgetting about my food, and sat on my bed. I ended up laying down. Now, a little break from the story. I have the master bedroom in my house and have 2 closets. One as a walk-in and one is like a regular closet. My walk-in closet has a light, but the light barely works. Back to the story. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the light in my closet is on, which is really weird for me because it doesn't work. I literally wanted to cry. Like, why is this happening to me? Again, like a dumb person from a horror movie. I opened my closet door and the light shut off and I could barely make it out, but a tall, skinny figure was standing in the very back of my closet.
Ooh.
I closed the door really fast. I felt like screaming, but I didn't. I ended up going outside for a while and sat on a bench outside my house. I don't really know if I was just seeing things or if I really saw something paranormal, but it was scary. Yikes. A tall, skinny shadow person? Shadow people already seem kind of creepy, but when
Yeah.
you like put them in weird transfigurations,
Yeah.
like Slender Man, I feel like that's what makes Slender Man such
It's creepy.
a good cryptid.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
mouth. He's transfigured, right?
Mhm.
He just makes him like something's just off about the way he looks.
I don't like uh ghost things, stuff like that. Like I've seen a lot of stuff in my life. I don't know why, what it is about myself, but I don't enjoy it. That stuff truly freaks me out.
You're not a fan of the paranormal,
I'm not.
like
I'm not.
hauntings
It
and things
interests
like
me. I'm really intrigued by it,
that.
but I don't want to see anything.
I've never had any experiences like that.
That's crazy to me that you never. I've seen
I
so
have,
much. It's ridiculous.
I've been out looking before. I haven't extensively like searched, but I've been
I've never
places
searched.
where
Just
I have been
happens.
places where other people won't go back to. I've never had any kind of experience.
I don't understand why some people
It's very
go their
odd.
whole life and never see anything,
Quite
but other
odd.
people are like a magnet for it.
There are some people who are definitely more tuned
Yeah,
to
I
picking
guess.
up those frequencies. I feel like.
I've prayed and prayed for God to like take that from me. Like why has this happened to me? I don't like it.
A lot of people seem to seem like it's always the people that don't want it that get stuck with it, right?
Yeah.
Very rarely is people that are looking for it that get to experience it. It's usually people who don't want anything to do with it.
They probably don't want anything to do with it because it's alarming. It scares you.
I can see how it would definitely. I guess I'm more interested in it. I don't know. I definitely would. It's not something I would want to experience all the time for sure. But yeah, it can be more of a curse than a blessing, I suppose.
I feel like.
Well, hopefully you haven't
I haven't
passed
seen
anything down to anybody.
That's
You know, let's just hope that that ends there, right?
Yeah. You know, my dad is I don't know what you would call him, but he like he would dream stuff, like just know stuff that he shouldn't know.
Dreams are a powerful thing.
There was so many times that like if he was a gambling man, like he would have won a lot of money. He would always like horse races. Like he'd always pick the horse that was going to win. Like he knew what horse would win like every time. But he never like bet. And he would just know things.
That's interesting. I've always had weird dreams. Like any dreams that I remember were always quite similar in such a way that like I'd almost be aware
Right.
that I was dreaming and well that's
Uh-oh. How long's that been like that for?
it just happened, so let's see what's going on.
What's that mean?
I guess
The sound's still going, right? Did
I'm
it
not
die?
Sure.
Well, we should probably end this
just
soon.
stopped recording, so let's start it recording again.
Uh-oh. Anyways.
So yeah, just had a little drag in the video.
Sorry.
We've also been out recording some stuff. We haven't been out yet, but I have been just to test the equipment.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys see some random little clips here and there, I'm just patching the video up because I'm just now testing this particular camera we're
Venus
using
and
today.
Jupiter are out there visible right now. We should probably take the camera out there and See if we can get some footage of that.
So any place in this video, this lacking video, I'm gonna slowly figure out how this works, and we'll start piecing it together more accurately.
Oh, baby.
But for now, I hope this is a step up
Why are you?
compared to what we've been doing anyway. Do you have another one that you wanna?
Throw it away.
Do you have another one you'd like to
No.
share before we leave
She just
tonight?
popped that dumpling I just got her.
Are you kidding me?
It popped.
Live on the air?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hurry up, get that off your hands. I don't know what that is.
It's shaving cream.
You sure it's shaving cream?
We're still shooting.
Right. Hurry up.
I apologize. This is not very professional,
At
but
all.
it happens sometimes. Bailey, you're fired.
That's rude.
Clean out your desk and go home. We're cleaning her desk out. So, yeah, we're hiring for a new assistant. If you guys want to submit your resumes to our HR department, I'll be glad to review those. But yeah, it's been fun. I like the new stuff so far. I think it's gonna work out pretty cool.
Bailey's not.
Bailey's not working out.
You know how many times she's been like, Mommy.
Oh, it's been a complete fail on Bailey's end, without a doubt. She did good reading the stories, but as far as the professionalism level, I feel like
she not realized the microphone is
she
like
could
right
not
next
ever.
to
I
her.
tried to explain that to her,
Gosh.
like you're being recorded here, visually, and here by audio. What are you gonna do? Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, I think, and enjoy the rest of our weekend. It's been kind of a crazy week. You guys know how I feel about the weather, and it's just been crazy weather week after week. So it's gonna be peaceful this weekend. I'm gonna enjoy it. Quit trying to rush me.
Huh?
I see you like staring a hole through.
Agreeing with you?
No, you look like.
No, I'm looking like, yeah.
Wrap it up.
Oh my gosh. Huh? Bailey. Are you done?
Bailey, we need a
Are we
sign on the door.
I gotta go.
That's like the recording in
go.
progress.
Yep.
Guys, have a wonderful weekend. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. This has been, our 40th episode?
I don't know, honestly.
It has been the 40th episode. Make sure you're subscribed. Send us any encounters you guys want us to share to hillshadowsky
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
at yahoo.com. That's hillshadowsky at yahoo.com. And have a blessed weekend. We'll see you guys next time.